Good morning, guys. Once again, welcome to Career Counseling Online. All the good wishes and with the blessings of the Lord Buddha. Today, on the occasion of Buddha Purnima, I thought of talking about some topics which is related to the management. At the same time, we can draw the inspiration from Buddhism. See, the first thing is Gautama Adi Buddha attained enlightenment at the age of 35. Okay, and he left his bodily existence at the age of 80. And all these 45 years, he has been serving humanity. He has been teaching the world the ways or the paths to uh, attain, I would say, personal peace, mental peace, and attain, enlightenment. As per him, anybody can be a Buddha. The moment we have our knowledge, we have our internal knowledge within ourselves, guiding us towards the path of perfection. Obviously, that path will obviously take us all to being the Buddha. Okay, see, this path of Buddhism has been defined. I am not an expert on Buddhism. I'm not, but yes, I do get inspired by, just like in every other religion, I get inspired by Buddhism. But one thing for sure, Buddhism is not an organized religion in terms of there is no worshipping of God. Okay, in Buddhism, the existence of God is not accepted. Rather, Buddha being a very logical person who attended enlightenment through an inward journey of understanding his emotion, understanding his emotion triggering factors, and the way those can be controlled. He worked a lot on which we call today as inward engineering, and he attended the enlightenment. See, before him also, before the Gautama Adi Buddha, there were many others who were preaching the same religion, the same ways of meditations and others. But then uh, Gautama Adi Buddha attained enlightenment through understanding, through wisdom. Right? We will talk about those aspects some other day. See, the three aspects of being the Buddha is the three Shila, Samadhi, and Panna. Shila means, the way you lead your life. Samadhi is, as in terms of modern days, in terms of understanding your emotions, your feelings, and attaining a situation where you are not being controlled by the emotions, right? And Panna means wisdom. Okay, again, wisdom can be broken as per Buddhism into Shrutmaya Panna and Bhavamaya Panna. Now, Shrutamaya Panna is a wisdom which you are developing, or knowledge. Panna means the knowledge which you are gaining through reading, through hearing, or through experience. Now, Bhavamaya Panna is something which is the true emergence of wisdom, not knowledge. It's the wisdom. Okay. See, we will talk in a different video altogether about spirituality and how we can draw our inspiration in the modern day, day-to-day career, leadership, or management. See, today, on the very auspicious occasion of the Buddha Purnima, I would like to talk about the Four Noble Truths of Buddhism. See, the whole Buddhism concept is based on Four Noble Truths. Okay. Now, these Four Noble Truths, though, were mentioned by the Lord Buddha around 2500 years ago, but we can always draw our inspiration for our for our manpower management, for our personal management, or our man management, or even for the management of our life as a whole. Okay, see, what is the first before going into what is the first, second, third, and fourth noble truth and how it is related to management, let's break it down into three aspects. First, we are talking about four noble truths. So why four? See, the wheel of Buddhism, they mention, has four spokes. So it's a theory of spokes and hub. Okay, with the center being the wisdom, these four spokes turns around the wheels of Buddhism, or the wheels of wisdom. Okay, so these are the four basic principles on which Buddhism is based on. So that's the reason for. Now, why is it noble? Because see, these steps, or these theories, or these teachings, when being accepted by anybody like me, you, and anybody, when we are accepting these truths in our life, it ennobles us. It ennobles us means that we also start moving in a path of being noble and enlightenment. See, it's a path of wisdom. Whether you can become a Buddha or not, that's not the question. The main thing is, are we walking on the path of wisdom with knowledge along with ourselves? These days, we have a lot of knowledge, we have a lot of information, but what is the need of the hour is wisdom. And why is it called truth? Because see, four noble truths. So first is four, because there is the four basic principles. Noble because it ennobles you. Okay, and truth because these are relative to our truth of life, right? It's the continuity of life, and the regular aspects of life. It's nothing something which is happening in the past, or which will happen in the future. See, which these four noble truths are applicable in the present to become a better one in the future. Okay, because in the past a lot has walked on this path of wisdom and has attended Buddha, right? The attainment, enlightenment. So what is the first noble truth? The first noble truth is, there is suffering. See, suffering again can be differentiated into two different categories. First is physical suffering, second is psychological or mental suffering. See, the physical suffering like sickness, illness, pain, injury, being affected by climate, by affected by insects and others, insect bites, or any other kind of these things. These are physical. The physical thing is the physical part wherein it is getting affected. Okay, the suffering is there. So illness is there. Illness is there. The problem with our body, because we have a body, right? So just like we have a car, and we many a times do get this problem of that. So with the continuity of the time, the body will develop illness, the body will develop pain, the body will encounter pains which is sometimes unbearable, and so on. So the main thing is, there is suffering. This is the physical suffering, the suffering at the physical level. Second comes the suffering at the mental level. See, like frustration, anger, sadness, depression, these are pain and sufferings at the mental level. Okay, so what does that mean? So we all know this, right? The first noble truth is, there is suffering. So we need to accept that there is sufferings in our life. Okay, that is the first thing. Instead of asking, why me, why is it happening with me? See, the main thing is, there is suffering in everybody's life. So if we have to draw a conclusion in terms of management or managerial skill, see, we need to understand, whenever we are working in a process, whenever we are into a process, whether it involves resource, manpower, or technology, there would be challenges. There would be challenges which would literally put us sometimes out of operations, sometimes cause a lot of losses, and cause a lot of trouble in terms of the regular operational continuity. So we need to accept that. Instead of start blaming, or doing finding the right person to blame around, we need to first start working on the problem, accepting that since this is an operation and it involves multiple inputs, multiple aspects, like there is resource involved, there is manpower involved, there is technology involved, so there will be problems, there will be challenges in the process. Okay, we can, if we try to draw a conclusion, though it's a very rough conclusion, but that is what it is. The first noble truth of Buddhism says there is suffering. So just if we talk about the management terms, so there is hiccups, there is challenges when we are working on any operation, right? So we need to accept that. Second comes is that craving is the root for any suffering. The second noble truth is mentions that there is suffering is the first truth. The second truth is that craving drives the suffering. Now, what does that mean? See, as long the other day I was waiting for, before the lockdown period, I was waiting for the public transportation. All right, so a friend of mine luckily was passing by. He also stays at the same residential complex where in I stay. He's a bit senior to me, but he was on his way to his office. Okay, so the moment he saw me, he offered me a lift. He says, till what direction you are going? I said, I need to go towards the airport direction. And he says, then I can drop you. Okay, so he offered me a lift. And I gladly accepted it because I was waiting for the public transport for a long time. Now, as I went inside, and the AC was on, the music system was on, and it made me feel pretty nice. Let me say you, the music was very nice. So, and I started appreciating. I said, like, Dada, the sound system is awesome. What is the brand, and so on. But the thing is, he was answering all the questions, but with not that kind of enthusiasm. Then I said, like, is something troubling you? Then he said, like, no, the other day, actually, have you seen this new model of this Tata that they have launched? And I said, no, Dada, I have not seen it. Then, but yes, I have seen it in the YouTube release videos. I have seen those. Then he says that, this colleague of mine bought this, okay, the other day, and we went to for a treat. We asked for a treat, so he took us all for a long drive, and I got a chance to drive the car. What car? So smooth, the gear movement was so smooth, and sound system, they have put the Grundig sound system, and it was amazing. The clarity is amazing. And even the AC, he mentioned, see, I'm not an expert about the AC ventilation system within the car. Then he said, like, it has AC where the gear changes, where, the foot raise is there from underneath the seats and on the roof. So the thing is, and I said, like, but this is, ultimately they would be making the car cooler. But then he said, look, no, see, when you're going for a long drive, okay, those AC makes your life very, very comfortable. Those makes it very, you don't feel the stress. Now the thing is, I know he purchased this car 2 years back because he gave a treat for that also, right? Then I said, like, but Dada, this car is absolutely fine. I mean, like, with this car only, you have gone to Shantiniketan, you have gone to Purulia, you have gone to so many places, but I mean, did you face any problem? Then he said, but that car is so nice. Now the thing is, guys, as Buddhism says that on the second noble truth, that their craving is the root cause for every kind of suffering. Okay, so the thing is, see, the craving, it's not wrong to ask for something. If you want to have a car, if you want to have a house, if you want to have something good in your life, it's not wrong. But the thing is, craving, it turns the desire that nice to have changes into a craving when you start comparing and you start wanting something in comparison to your product to somebody else. Like, for instance, this example only, see this car. I mean, I also went along with this person in this car for a long drive and so on. But then he never complained. He always felt so good, felt so happy driving and zooming past the other cars and climbing over the gears and other things. But now, just because his own colleague has got an updated model of this car and he has driven that, so he starts drawing comparison. Now, that is not desiring. That is not wanting. That want has changed into a craving. Now craving is something which is many a times associated with negativity. Okay, because a craving, whether it's a kind of addiction, whether it's a kind of mental blockage wherein it does not let you think straight. Okay, it does not let you think very logical. The thing is, this craving starts with comparison. See, as long as he was driving the car that he was pretty happy. He was absolutely happy with what he had. But the moment he has driven that colleague's car, he started feeling the pain of not having the car. It's not that he doesn't have a car, he has his own car, but the thing is he wants that model. But the guys, let me tell you one thing: once he gets that model also, he will be happy for 2 years. Now that reminds me of from when I was studying economics, I studied the law of diminishing marginal utility. See, that is what is going to happen. In 2 years, he will be very happy, but one fine day, he again sees some new car, some new brand, some new model with new features. He again starts complaining. So the thing is, this never ends. This never ends. And that is like a constant loop of demanding. When you are constantly demanding, that means you are constantly being unhappy with already what you have, right? If you are not happy, if you are not enjoying what you are having right now in your present life, you will not be able to appreciate the those commodities or relationship as a blessings of the present, right? Now, coming back to the third noble truth. The third noble truth of Buddhism, as per Buddhism, it says that it is the Buddha mentioned that it is possible to attain happiness, working on your cravings, or just as there is sufferings, cravings drives sufferings. So the third noble truth says that you can attain happiness, working on your sufferings. So how is that possible? See, the thing is, as I mentioned, when you're constantly craving, when you're constantly attached to something, you are not able to focus. Now if we go on to management perspective, drawing conclusion from the Buddhism, see, the thing is, SLA is there, AHT is there, turnaround time is there. Absolutely, it is. These are the parameters, these are the KPIs which decides the organizational success also. But the thing is, many a times I have seen, deciding the process or defining the process or the KPIs, many a times the human aspect is completely ignored. Many a times the employees feel very demotivated when they find that they are being ignored. See, that is something which makes them start drawing a comparison. And in this world, when they start drawing the comparison with a different kind of job profile, or maybe a friend's job profile, they start becoming unhappy. What happens is that they being unhappy set the whole organizational environment or the temperament of the organization as being very unhappy, right? With unhappy employees, management cannot attain the kind of goals that they are trying to attain. So what is Buddha telling, or what did Buddha mention almost 2500 years ago, is that just as there is suffering and craving initiates the suffering, there it is also possible to work on your suffering and attaining happiness. What does that mean in terms of management? See, in terms of management, I would say it means that, see, just as we understand that there is suffering and we have to accept it. First thing is, if there is a challenge within the team, if there is a challenge within the organization, within the employee management, within the resource management, or whether it's related to the handling of the team or any such thing, see, we need to first accept that yes, this problem is there, right? We need to understand this problem is there, and instead of complaining, the management and the employees needs to work together on that. Because see, ultimately the decision would be made by the management, but the thing is, employees are all together into it. So the way the employees feels, the way the employees can give a feedback to their management team is the best way which the management can take up to work on the loopholes and deliver the best practices for their employees, right? So coming back to the fourth noble truth, the fourth noble truth says that there is a road to attain happiness, working on your sufferings. See that four noble truth is again divided into the eight percepts: the right action, the right speech, the right thought, the right concentration, the right mindfulness, the right act, right, and the right judgment. So what does that do? See, when we let's pick up one point at at a time. When we're talking about the right speech, see, many a times we feel something. It is true that we feel the anger, we feel the anguish, we feel the frustration, with the work it comes. But the thing is, we need to understand how we can exactly give this feedback as a substantive feedback. It does not have to be petty. It does not have to be something which can be ignored. When we are facing a challenge within our work environment or the workplace, we need to work on that. We really literally need to work on that, understanding the root cause of it. That might be a training issue, that might be a product knowledge issue, that might be a process lag, that might be some internal procedures which are being followed by the process, which is literally cutting paths with the employee's benefit or the employee's understanding or the employee's effort. So in those cases, the right speech matters the most. Many times we find a feedback is given to an employee by the manager or the director or even the superiors or the supervisors in a way where it's not constructive. See, as I mentioned in one of my early videos, a couple of days back, that people do not leave organization. People leave their managers, or people leave their bosses. See, this is such a painful statement when we consider that somebody is driving an employee out of the organization with their behavior. See, what is a behavior? First thing, the behavior comes is with the speech. So the right speech, before speaking to somebody, I know that person might have done something wrong, the person might not have delivered, or the person might have failed in understanding the way the thing needed to be done. But that doesn't mean that you as a manager or you as a director, you give a feedback in such a way that the person shuns away. See, what does that happen is, you cannot guarantee that the same mistake will not be repeated. You know why? Because the employee didn't learn. Okay, so he didn't learn because he was not able to take the feedback in a constructive way, because it was never given to him in a constructive way altogether, right? It was never given to him in a constructive way. It was given in a way to make him feel bad, to make him feel very slow, to make him feel very small, and to make him feel very unproductive within the team, right? So what that do, that literally drive that employee into his shell. He becomes a cocoon. He doesn't learn. He makes the same mistake, right? And you go through the same experience again and again. Now, the right thought. Right thought is the way of thinking a scenario or a situation, not in terms of obviously practicality matters, but not in terms of understanding only the logics. You cannot be only taking input and giving output. There are human factors which are involved. There are human emotions involved. The right thought begins with thinking, how would I feel about this situation? How would I feel if a feedback about this situation is provided to me in a very negative or a harsh way? How would I personally feel if I feel unproductive or not contributing? Or how would I feel if this step was taken against me? Now, that is a very difficult situation to understand others' perspective in terms of understanding how would I feel. But Buddhism tells that only the right thought begins with you thinking, how would I feel if I were in his position. So in terms of management also, if we can do that, we can handle our team much better, right? Then right action. See, many a times I have seen that a small feedback could have solved the problem, but I have seen mails after mails being exchanged from HR, warning letters and so on, and marked to operation manager, marked to a country head, marked to every supervisor, marked to every managers. Now the thing is, see, this guy starts receiving mails from all of these people, whereas the manager to whom he reports, they could have easily sat together, they could have easily worked on the situation, right? Worked on the situation. The manager could have easily given his constructive feedback, like, okay, why don't you follow these steps, and maybe you can solve this problem. Instead of that, throughout the day what happens is this employee starts receiving mails, starts receiving calls, and none of which is constructive, because he finds himself as a target wherein everybody is practicing a target practice, right? So that is not the thought right thought or the right action. See, when you are in a position wherein you are managing a team, the right action matters the most, because you need to again ask a question like, is this action going to make me feel the way I feel now, and how would I feel? So if I take this action, yes, necessary precautionary actions has to be taken, necessary or sometimes some strict actions has to be taken, but then again we need to have a judgment with us as to, is this incident calling for such a harsh action? Does this incident call for such a harsh action? Because this action is going to impact the employee psychologically, mentally, and even career wise, right? So does this call for this action? Right thought, right speech, right action, right mindfulness. See guys, today we are bombarded with information, right? Today we have so much of information all around us. We are multitasking, we are running here and there. See, as I always mention in my seminars, see, being busy does not mean you are productive, right? We are into everything, but we are not able to deliver anything in a way which is being expected. That is exactly what is happening all around in the, which is giving rise to all this kind of frustrations, all this kind of unpleasant experiences, employees leaving, employees absenteeism and attrition and so on. So the thing is, if we start considering from this point that whether we are thinking straight, right mindfulness begins with you. If you are not at peace with your own thought process, yesterday we spoke about analytical mind. See, if you are not understanding the situation clearly yourself, if you are not able to understand the conditions which are triggering the situation, you will not be able to take the right action, you will not be using the right speech, you will not have a right thought, right? So right mindfulness begins with you. We as managers or the directors or the head of the organization has to be very, very mindful when we are dealing with resources, because we need to understand one thing. See, it is very, very easy, to ruin a emotion or a connection of an employee with the organization, but it takes years for the organization or for the manager or for the director to build up a relationship of trust, or a relationship of loyalty, wherein you see the employee comes out of just a job and starts contributing. So right mindfulness begins with you. See, when you are mindful, when you are in a thought process yourself, when you are considering all the situations yourself, when you are negotiating with all these points, then coming to a conclusion, that will make you handle your team much more peacefully, much more happily. right? So guys, on those notes, I would like to say, see, these four noble truths, let's say, developed and spread across by the Lord Gautama Adi Buddha. See, these four noble truths, if we go by them, not only we can have a wonderful peaceful personal life, we can also have a very very balanced work life also, right? So the path, as I mentioned, the fourth noble truth is the most important, as per the Buddhism. They considered it as the most important path of enlightenment, or the most important significant noble truth, because this is a path which works on all the aspects. See, if you go by all these eight percepts of this fourth path, you will find that this covers all the aspects of socio-economic, mental, and every other aspects which the individual, when they walk on that path, this eight right action, right thought, right speech, right mindfulness, right concentration. See, we are lacking in the concentration constantly. We are being interrupted by digital media, we are constantly interrupted by our smartphone, we are constantly interrupted by phone calls. So the thing is, we hardly get a time to concentrate. See, if we are not able to concentrate on what is going on in my life, we will not be able to understand what is going on in our organization from organization perspective of view. See, if you are not able to understand, if you are not concentrating on the kind of personal level problem that you are facing, how do you expect to understand the problem in life of your team members? How do you expect to understand your team members, right? So with that note altogether, and on the occasion of the Buddha Purnima, I wish you all a very very happy blessed Buddha Purnima today. May you all walk on the path of wisdom, right? The knowledge is absolutely fine, knowing is absolutely fine, but it is wisdom which is going to take you forward, not only in terms of your career but in terms of your personal growth. See, the growth of a person has multi heads. We will talk about that in a different video altogether. But the thing is, one growth is the personal growth, right? That personal growth can be again subdivided into the wishful growth and the spiritual growth. See, all those aspects makes you, and you go and work in your office. You take yourself into that office, and it is you who handles the team. So guys, if we are working on these four noble truths of Buddhism, and I believe we can be better managers, we can be better directors, we can take better decisions, and we can have a wonderful organizational balance within the team. We can also have, the best part is, we can have the best work-life balance, which is fading away today as we see more and more, right guys? So just a note, from today onwards we're going to do career counseling in a different thought process altogether. So the thing is, there will be a morning bites like the one happening now. It will be around 9 to 10. There will be a morning bite wherein I'll go live and talk about situations in careers or life, and incorporating both. Okay, around 12 o'clock, 12 p.m. afternoon, there I would be posting my blog. I would be writing about situations in career, in different aspects about growth of career, and difficulties faces, challenges faced, and how can we work on those. So there would be a write-up, a nice write-up. I would urge you to go through it, take some time and read that. It is majorly, they will all be 5 minutes read. Okay, so you just need 5 minutes to read those, and it will give you a nice insight into the present job scenario, into the present job world, into the present management procedure, operations, and so on. Okay, and around 6 I'll be posting a wonderful quote from life experience only, which I believe everybody can resonate to. Okay, and around 7 p.m. We go and watch wonderful videos about achievement in life. And this video also goes for like a watch party. 7 p.m. In the evening, we will be conducting a watch party wherein we can all come together and watch along with our friends, families, and colleagues, and so on. Right, guys? So as always, please write to us at careercounselingonline@gmail.com. Okay, and please like and share our Facebook page, which is Career Counseling Online. LinkedIn group you are already aware of. As I mentioned, we have a wonderful interactive group which is in LinkedIn called the Career Counseling Online. Okay, and you can view all the live videos in our Career Counseling YouTube channel also. Very soon, we will have the channel with a dedicated name as Career Counseling Online only. But until then, you can find the YouTube channel mentioned in our description. So, guys, please watch those, share those, subscribe to our channel. And I believe this is an interactive, learning session. This is not a one-way job that I'm trying to do here. I'm looking forward to your feedback. I'm looking forward to your questions. I'm looking forward to your feedbacks to work on and come back to you. Because see, when that happens, I start learning. I have to learn, right? I am forced to learn to come back to you with a constructive feedback. So with that note, guys, thanks a lot for always being with us, and take care of yourself. Stay at home, stay focused, and stay productive. Okay, take care for now, and once again, on the holy and auspicious occasion of Buddha Purnima, I wish you all a very, very blessed day. Okay, take care, and may you walk on the path of wisdom. Take care.